Hey guys, wish we were coming to you with a much better, much more positive message, but that's them's the breaks. Trey, Downey, Recher here with you. We're here at Amalie Arena. See everybody. Alexander Ovechkin's up there with his friends and family. Tough loss, Trey. 4-0 the Tampa Bay Lightning, and they had their chances for sure. I thought they played really well, but man, Braden Holtby was up to the task, and every single time the Capitals had a chance to score and put one behind Vasilevsky, they did.
Exactly. I think that's what I put out at the end of the second period, was that the story of this game to me was the Lightning had so many missed opportunities, and the Capitals took advantage of every single one of them. And if you want to, the game isn't decided on one single player at one single moment, but I think if you want to look at one moment that really that could have flipped this game the other direction, is when Victor Hedman got it in behind Holtby and Yanni Gourde wasn't able to put it away. I think that kind of perfectly illustrated this. I mean, if people are going to say, oh, the Lightning didn't come out inspired because of that early goal by Ovechkin, they completely responded to that.
I agree.
Holtby just stood on his head, and the Lightning just couldn't take advantage of the opportunities that they got.
Yeah, I think another thing, too, was that Alex Killorn, he had a breakaway chance, a great pass by Nikita Kucherov, and they were unable to, he was unable to get it past him. Killorn had a couple good chances, but you can't go that long without scoring a goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was rough. That was a rough go of it. Almost 8 full periods it was without giving up a goal for Braden Holtby. There's a lot of questions to be asked. I know there's going to be people that are going to be complaining about John Cooper, and we'll talk about this a lot tomorrow. 6:20 WDA starting at 6 a.m. with Ronnie and Cheekraz will be on with Ronnie D tomorrow from noon to 3. I don't know. You don't want to overreact. You put out a good tweet saying, this team was close to blowing it up, Washington, and you see what happens the next year. They were finally able to break through, and now they'll play against the Vegas Golden Knights in the Stanley Cup Final. But I think the big thing for all fans is to make sure you just don't overreact throughout this whole thing, but still not an easy loss to take.
No, it's not an easy pill to swallow, and this is gonna sting. This is obviously when you're one victory away from getting back to a Stanley Cup Final, it's gonna sting, and it's gonna sting for a long time, and it's gonna sting in that locker room. It's gonna sting for John Cooper. It's gonna sting for every single one of us. But as I said in that tweet, you have to remember that while this team they've had great success over this 5-6 year run now with this window. Two things you have to realize: last year injuries were a big part of it, but this team missed the playoffs last year, and they came back and were one victory away from getting to the Stanley Cup Finals. And as I said, Washington perfectly illustrates that you cannot overreact, because this is the first year that Ovechkin and Backstrom core even gets to the conference finals, and you want to blow it up just because of a loss in Game 7. Don't be prisoners of the moment. Let it sting, but realize that going into next season, this team is probably going to be the favorites to come out of the Eastern Conference again.
Without a doubt, and if not the whole Stanley Cup Final. I mean, you look at the moves that Steve Yzerman has made, even at the deadline, didn't pick up JT Miller and Ryan McDonough. I know Miller kind of struggled a little bit down the stretch. I thought Ryan McDonough played pretty good.
I agree.
But, you look at the adjustments they made from Game 6 to Game 7. Derek saying they got bullied again, and you feel free, guys, to put what you thought at the bottom of the screen. Why it didn't go the Lightning's way, what is to blame. But you look at this series, they were down 2-0. They fought all the way back. I think Paul Delgado from Fox 13 brought up a good point. They expended so much energy coming back into this series. It seems like they just ran out of gas. So it's rough, and I know it's easy to be negative at this time of the night, you know what I mean? But you got to kind of look at the glass half full. It'd be one thing if you're looking at it and there's a bunch of unrestricted free agents that you got to sign, and you're worried about who's coming back. You got a lot of young players. You got a lot of good guys in the pipeline up in Syracuse that are going to make a big difference for this team. Andrei Vasilevsky is only 23 years old. Braden Point, I think, is a guy that you're going to be able to build around. But it comes down to the stars. I mean, you look at Kucherov, you look at Stamkos. I thought they played much better tonight. I don't think they got bullied around as much as they did in Game 6. I don't think the physicality was a reason why they lost tonight. I just think, at times, Braden Holtby, just got to give him the nod. He came up with the saves when they needed to, and it's contagious, man. Just like in any sport, when you have trouble scoring, unless you get one, it just seems like, you can't beat the goalie in any way.
Yeah, I think if one goal could have completely changed this game, and we have a couple people saying, I said not to blow it up. Why not blow it up? look at what Washington did. And at the same time, too, the core has been around for a while. The Stamkos, Kucherov, Hedman core has been around, but this is the first playoff experience for guys like Yanni Gourde, guys like Cirelli, guys like Braden Point. And when you add Sergachev as well, when you add the fact that they have that experience now, combined with those veteran guys, you only add to the leadership and experience in this locker room, and you learn from experience. And I think that this team, it stinks right now, but I think especially those young guys are going to be better off in the future because of this experience.
Look at my man Mark Cook from Pewter Report. You're getting on the Lightning bandwagon a little bit. You got to love Daisy making sure you're rooting for the Lightning. But you're right, Mark. I mean, it doesn't take a blind man to see that the Lightning were just outplayed in this series. I think Washington was the better team. I mean, at their best, Washington was better than the Tampa Bay Lightning. You have to take it as a learning experience. What else are you going to do? It was a rough go of it. I think the Lightning did a good job of making sure they had home ice advantage. They gave themselves every opportunity to score, actually to win this game.
Yeah.
But Ovechkin came up big when he counted. He scores the game-winning goal. I mean, that's the reason why he's a future Hall of Famer, one of the best players in this league and one of the best players of this generation, and now he's going to go play for a Stanley Cup final. But games like tonight are going to stick in the craw of this Lightning team, and they're definitely going to use this as motivation going forward. A lot of times you're the bridesmaid before you're the bride. And
look at the Capitals.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was the case again for the Lightning. But, I mean, some of the positives I look at, and you look at Braden Point, I thought he played phenomenal. I thought Mikhail Sergachev looked really good. So some of those young players, even a guy like Braden Coburn, I thought he played much better in the playoffs than he did at the end of. Yeah, he's looking rough right now. But just you got to look at the positives, man. I know you can look back and say, what if this, what if that, and it just didn't happen. You got to start looking towards next year. I know that's a conversation that you didn't expect to have around midnight tonight. You were expecting to have us talk about, hey, who's going to Vegas? But that's just the way it goes. Only one team from the East could go on. So, James, I'm sorry, but there's way too much positive going on here for it. What do you want us to do, James? I mean, I know they didn't score. It's just the way it goes, man. I mean, Braden Holtby was hot. The Lightning couldn't put it together. I mean, what are you going to do? You can't cry over spilled milk.
We're just as devastated as a lot of...
Yeah, of course. Trust me. It was very awkward being in the locker room right now, seeing these guys we've been covering all year being distraught, seeing Stamkos. And we'll have that up on our page, 620wda.com, in a little while. I have some videos as well. Strawman, Hedman, Girardi. I mean, these guys, it's tough because it takes so long. It's such a long season. I mean, it feels like the regular season was so long ago, but it is a tough battle, and there's two teams out there. And, Washington was the better team. I don't know a better way to put it.
I think more than just look on this and just bat and bash the Lightning, at some point or another, you have to tip your cap to who was the better team in this series. And the Capitals were, as you said, as JP said from 3 to 6 today, the Capitals' best in this series was better than the Lightning's best. Andrei Vasilevsky did his damnedest and stole Game 4, or else we're
probably not even here.
We're not even here tonight if the Capitals go up 3-1. So you have to look at those things and go forward and not just say, and look at the Bucks and the Rays. When was the last time they've been this close? And we have issues with, they should blow things up more often. But because the Lightning got this close and they lost, yes, you're unhappy. But look at this roster and look at how good this team is. And if a couple breaks go differently, we're talking about the Bolts and the Golden Knights in the Stanley Cup Finals. That didn't happen this year, but as I keep saying, look at the Capitals. Things could flip on a dime.
Trey Downey, make sure you follow him at TD Experience. Jay Recher, follow me at Jay Recher. Follow us at 620WDAE. Make sure you go to 620WDAE.com for the best Bolts coverage. Like I said, we're going to go work on audio and some of the video right now, so make sure you check it out over there. Carney, sounds like a failure to me. I'm with you, bro. It was a rough night in Tampa Bay sports. Rays lose in the 9th inning. Lightning lose Game 7. It's on the Bucks OTAs, Rays, and some other stuff. Also, other stuff when happened. University of Tampa lost today. Playing high school lost today. USF softball lost.
Not a good day for Tampa sports.
Rough day in Tampa sports. So everybody, go to sleep and make sure you guys tune in to us at noon tomorrow. He's Trey. I'm Jay. We'll see you next time.